We are here with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, last year I was at WWE's WrestleMania in Dallas, and we talked.
Yep.
And that was a year ago. You first just breaking your way into the world of NXT. Now here we are. I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania.
1 year later.
I would imagine. How's it been for you, man? 1 year later, what's the experience been like? What's been something that you walk away being like, I wasn't expecting this? Just tell us what's up.
It's an awesome. It's WrestleMania week, man. It's like I said it, and I think I said this last year. It's this grand pilgrimage of all WWE fandom kind of converging on one area and celebrating what we do. So yeah, man, it's definitely more of a thrill now. I think the first year when I'm dealing with this, it's always a little rough because you're kind of getting your bearings and stuff. But this year, I'm definitely enjoying it a lot more.
What I want to know is, are you guys going to give the people what they want?
Okay.
Are we going to get a Triple H faction with you and Kevin Owens? This is what the people want to know, because that's what the people want. I think I speak for all the people in the world when I say that.
He's a spokesperson, man.
It's time.
Like he didn't even go with like a certain group of people.
Nah. Oh, hey, look, it could be any group.
Yeah.
You know
like, some guys, they be like, listen, left-handers really, really want this.
Nah,
he didn't even go that
people,
route.
All humans.
All across the board.
Said, yeah.
Anybody with eyeballs glued to the set.
Everybody.
Everybody.
So, me and Triple H, we have a working accord. And, I've been assisting Kevin somewhat in his issues. But, I think Raw, the week after Mania is always a very interesting Raw.
Ooh,
many things pop off. So, who knows what's going to happen.
Some exciting stuff. I want to ask you, we were just talking about how AJ's been geeking out about the opportunity to interview and chat and meet a lot of guys, and AJ plays in the NFL, and he was talking about how it's cool that when he geeks out about meeting someone that he's a fan of, then he finds out that they're a fan of his as well. For you, has there been an instance where someone came up to you that's a big fan of yours, and you're like, oh crap, man, I'm a fan of yours too?
No, I'm way too self-deluded to ever be telling other people they're dope. Like,
you don't want to make them feel good.
It's
no
just,
pumping
it's
tires.
just not in my DNA.
Yeah.
Like,
those tires
like
are
I'm sure
flat.
some other people came here and lied to you about that, but they're just as selfish as me. Don't let them tell you any different. No. Yeah, man. I think when these weeks come up, you see a lot of wrestlers from the past that show up that WWE honors, and it's really cool, man. Like I said, I've seen him a ton of times, and anytime I saw Ricky Steamboat maybe last year, so it's cool to see him. And I was talking about Steamboat Savage and how that match still to this day I'll watch that. I'd be like, it's incredible. So it's like when you see those type of performers and stuff, it's always kind of a humbling deal, But yeah, I haven't seen any crazy radio personalities yet. That I'm like, dang, man, But
when I played for the Dolphins, I was on the team with Paul Soliai. I also played with Silver Silga and Isaac Sopoaga. Yeah. And I've learned through my travels that Samoan people are not only some of the best people that you'll find, but the most generous people that you'll find.
If you're on the end. That's
for
the thing.
sure.
Like Samoans are very, very clear. Like, you're either on the end, and if you're not on the end,
you are way out.
You're way out.
Way out.
Yeah. I think and a lot of Samoans in the NFL, and I think it's hard to go through to play football in general without at least having a couple Samoans on your team.
Exactly.
No matter where, you can start in Arkansas, you can start wherever, but at some point, if you're any way successful in football, you're going to play with some Samoan cats.
Absolutely.
And we're all the same. You know what I mean? I hate to, I stereotype, but you know what I mean? But that's the thing. If you're on the team, you're on the team for good.
Yep.
But if you're not on the team, don't show up to practice.
No chance to crack that show.
They are absolutely some of the baddest dudes I've ever been with. The question I was going to ask is, because I never even heard of it until I started talking to Paul. When was the last time, if ever, you had Cava?
Wow. Actually, it's funny. I was just bringing this up to a couple cats the other day because they were talking about it. So last time at Cava was actually, it was a family event, sadder family event, but we had some of the older relatives there. So yeah, they did the traditional Cava, but it's Man, I recommend it, man. It's a great relaxing.
Absolutely.
Like, I liken it to like a nice tea, but a little bit stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't know much about it, but I read something that said if you mix Cava with caffeine, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Like I don't even like. You just told me that. I'm like, why would you do that? That's
I want to know who the first guy that came up with.
Yeah.
That was just not the intended
left
result.
and right. Like
people like to mix everything. It's like let's add caffeine to anything.
Yeah, that's some like new age stuff that somebody's trying to do. Like,
I mean, you got to mix it with. We would always mix it with Skittles when I was over at Paul Solia's house because it does taste like dirt, but it's the best dirt you'll ever drink in your life.
So it's a relaxing kind of.
It's a real. I can't. It's hard to describe. It's a very relaxing, like calm. It has a very calming effect. I think is the best way to put it. So like if you got some kids, no.
You go play. I'm going to get the Cava.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
A true story, actually. Bill Belichick, when I was on the Patriots, Bill Belichick drank Cava in the locker room with me and Isaac Sopoaga and a bunch of other guys. And it was like one of the craziest experiences ever because I didn't expect them to be drinking Cava in the locker room in the first place.
Yeah.
And then when Bill comes in, I'm like, this is not good. I'm sitting around this circle. I'm like, this might end up bad. And then Bill's like, what are you doing? Drinking Cava. Come get a cup. Okay. Right. Comes over there. So we're like,
maybe that's why
that worked out much better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's so chill during all the press conferences.
That was the most cerebral practice we ever had. He's like, guys, we're just going to sit around, talk this out.
You're supposed to have an intense practice. Sitting back, feet up on the table, just loving life.
Yelling at the conditioning coach, why you blowing that whistle, man?
It's too harsh right now.
We were chatting with Samoa Joe, and the theme for WrestleMania is the ultimate thrill ride. And we've been asking everybody, what is the most thrilling thing that you've ever done outside of wrestling?
Outside of wrestling?
Yeah.
So, like, I used to, when I lived in California, like, full-time, I used to do a lot of spearfishing. And I remember, and like, you just like snorkel out and stuff. It's like there's some nice little coves and stuff. And I remember it was a little bit later in the evening. Probably shouldn't have been out that late, and kind of went down. And I remember I got a fish, and as I was coming up, a bigger
fish,
much scarier fish, came and took my fish, and it was a shark, so I didn't really mess it. I was just like,
that's no longer
like
your fish.
It was really
hell no.
Yeah, it was real Debo-ish the way it because it took it and then it didn't even swim away fast. It just like kind of looked at me while it had it in its mouth. I was just like, all right. Then,
you want some wreck?
Yeah,
I'm straight.
And then you can't swim in like panicking and fast because the next thing you know it's on you. So it's like you took it, and then you have to like kind of like tuck your tail between your legs and be like, all right, fine then. I'm gonna doggy paddle.
I didn't even really want fish tonight.
I'm gonna doggy paddle over here. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Go get some burgers, I guess, right?
I was feeling like steak anyway.
Get up to the surface. I'm waving my arm like crazy. Get over here, get me, man.
My buddy was telling me a story. He knew somebody. I don't even know where. I think it's in the South where the way that they go fishing is they put like a pipe over their arm and put their arm in the water and wait for the fish to try and bite their arm. And once it bites their arm, that's when they pull it out.
That's definitely in the South. That's some
right? Like, who thinks that's a good idea?
I don't know. The same dude, you ever seen the show when they stick their hand under the rocks? And grab catfish. Yeah. Sometimes there's gators down there.
Yeah.
I'm good off all that. Turtles, too.
Yeah, those turtles are mean, man.
I'm good off all that.
You talking about that? You set up a bet. We have a bet over the WrestleMania picks. We did a podcast with AJ. Does a great podcast called Jobbing Out. And the loser has to jump in. He has a house right by a pond and a lake.
Oh, yeah, he lives in Florida. Yeah,
right. So, and we have to
me too. Everybody does, man.
Okay, I'm Seattle, man. Yeah. We're going to jump in the water. Whoever loses at the night of WrestleMania has to jump in the water. And he's like, there's some gators
There's
in there.
Definitely gators.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if you jump in fast enough, they'll be so scared they'll run away.
Yeah. Tell him the length rule on gators, see? Because he'll bug out.
Well, he's like, this one only has like a little gator. So a couple of 3 feet.
3 feet. That's a baby gator.
That's a baby gator.
Yeah. I see one in the big lake, the one we're not jumping in. That's the reason we're not jumping in there. Oh, okay. I see one in there that was no less than 9.
Yeah, because at first I'm like,
big
bro.
You stay away from that one.
I brought my swim trunks. I'm in. Let's do this. And then he's like, well, there's gators. I'm like, I forgot my swim trunks.
I moved. I bought a place out here living in California. I remember like my first week, I looked at my pond. There's a big gator back there, man. Like 5-foot gator, and I was like. So I wilded out. I went to my neighbor. I'm like, hey, man. Because, you know, like, you know, in California, you know, you see like a raccoon, they call animal services. So I'm like, hey, man, this is a gator back there, man. He's like, well, how big is it? I was like, it's a gator. Who cares how big it is?
Didn't pull out a measuring tape.
And then, you know, his old country ass walked back there and looked. He's like, oh, I
ain't even a big gator.
Ain't even a big gator.
And first time I moved out here, same thing. The gator in the backyard was like 2.5 feet. I was like, yeah, can somebody come get this? Yeah. They're like, nah, you know, if it's not at least 8 feet, they won't even waste their time.
Wow. Like, and then I remember, because I actually called for gator removal one time. First thing I got about, well, how big is it?
Call us when it grows.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, we appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you got to run. And,
absolutely, man.
Best of luck to you at WrestleMania. We hope I would expect that we're going to see you, according to AJ. You better show up.
Yeah. I'll be around.
I'll be around. Well, thank you. We really appreciate
it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas.